Okay, what do we have next? And, oh yeah, okay, so, hey everyone, JTISREBORN back again with another edition of After the Movie. This time I'm going to be talking about XXX, The Return of Xander Cage, the sequel that you've all been waiting for. Okay, so, before I get into this one, I guess I should briefly talk about the first two XXX movies and my exposure to them. When this movie was announced, my friend came over back at like the beginning of January, and he was talking. We were like trying to think of something like ridiculous to watch, and he's like, "Oh, I saw this movie the other day called XXX," and I'm like, "I've heard of it, but I never had an interest in seeing it." So we rented it, and then he checked it out, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, I mean, it's so over the top, cheesy. It's early 2000s stuff. I had a really fun time watching it. It was legitimately an entertaining movie, and just all the ridiculous stunts. One thing I gotta give credit for the first XXX though is a lot of the practical stunts are really well done. Nowadays, a lot of that stuff is done in CG, but just seeing all the practical work and effort put into it, I had a good time with the first XXX. It's a really stupid movie, but it's fun. Then you have XXX State of the Union with Ice Cube this time instead of Vin Diesel in the lead, and I fucking hated that movie. I thought it was atrocious. Everything about it was awful. Even in the movie, you're like, man, I missed the first XXX. I'm like, yes, I missed the first XXX too. This guy is awful. Ice Cube's slow. He's not doing all these cool extreme stunts and stuff. He's not doing like the motocross and car chases. XXX State of the Union. They had Willem Dafoe as the bad guy, and even Willem Dafoe was bored throughout the movie. I highly recommend not seeing XXX State of the Union. In fact, it's so bad that maybe one day I might review it and point out how terrible, god-awful that fucking movie was. Yeah, I watched both those movies back to back, but the thing that made me really want to see this movie was I watched, for XXX Return of Xander Cage, the trailer. Like, I was seeing the trailer in the theater, and I see Vin Diesel flying out his fucking plane, and I was like, oh my god! I was laughing, I was snickering the whole time. Like, this is so fucking stupid. So then I go see the movie with my friends, and it's one of the best comedies of the year. It's like unintentional. This movie it's so fucking stupid, but it's so goddamn funny. Just the amount of ridiculousness in this movie and how unrealistic it is entertaining. When it tries to be funny, though, it's not funny. It fails, but there's just something about it. Just seeing the ludicrousness of it, this over-the-topness that, you know, it got a really big laugh out of me. I would say it was the funniest movie of the year, but until another movie that I'll talk about later that came out actually this past week. It actually came out like yesterday. The Lego Batman movie surpassed it in terms of being funny, but whatever. Back to XXX. We'll save Lego Batman for when I talk about that. So XXX Return of Xander Cage. I remember after like XXX 2, like XXX 2, they said that Xander Cage was dead, and in fact they made a short film where Vin Diesel as Xander Cage supposedly died, but I guess he faked his death, and he spends most of his time taking his skis and skiing off towers in the middle of the jungle. Literally, like, there's a part where he steals something so he can get everyone cable. He jumps from the top of this tower straight down to the ground. Granted, he's got no parachute, he's got his fucking skis. He somehow doesn't shatter his knees completely. And it's like, how is he still alive? Then he's skateboarding, doing all these unrealistic stunts and stuff, and then he's brought back into the game because Sam Jackson's character, Augustine, I think is his name. Regardless, Sam Jackson's character was supposedly killed, and then he somehow shows up again. And yeah, it's it's pretty ludicrous. Donnie Yen's in it too. They have to go, like, Vin Diesel tries to. It's basically like what I consider this movie is like an ego trip for Vin Diesel. I can see it where he's just like, yeah, look how cool I am. I'm approaching 50 and doing stuff that 20-year-olds should be doing, but yeah, look at me. I'm so cool. It tries to be another one of those like Fast and the Furious franchise movies. Granted, in some ways it's like more over the top funny, but in other ways, like, the supporting cast outside of Donnie Yen is pretty bad. None of them did a really good job, and yeah, it's just no. Who else is in this movie? Donnie Yen, Sam Jackson, Vin Diesel, Ruby Rose in it, who, by the way, is in like a couple of movies that I've seen this year. But yeah, so XXX 3, they're looking for something that can take down satellites. Apparently there's 50,000 plus satellites orbiting the Earth, which I didn't know, I guess. And Vin Diesel is brought out of retirement to stop this group of people who are just as over-the-top extreme stunt guys, because they were all XXX people in the beginning. And then they end up in Detroit, and then they just all sorts of chaos shows up. I guess I'll get into spoilers. They save the day. Ice Cube shows up at one point, which, why the fuck would you ruin that in the trailers? Granted, I didn't enjoy Ice Cube in XXX 2, but he was actually kind of enjoyable in... he was more enjoyable in the small dosage he was in this movie than XXX State of the Union, which, in my opinion, is an unwatchable movie. Like, I tried making fun of it. There's just nothing good about that movie. Absolutely nothing to bring value to that movie. It's fucking terrible. So, but yeah, Ice Cube, I can enjoy him in a movie when he's like really pissed off. Like, I love him in the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies, especially 22 Jump Street. But State of the Union is just fucking terrible. But he's in this movie, and they end up in Detroit, and they end up destroying like a lot of the city, which is kind of funny and stuff. Like just how they go about, like, they're jumping off like bridges, like landing on cars somehow. Vin Diesel's like jumping cars, like, whoa, look at me, guys, whoa! And it's just, oh my god, it's so laughable. But then the funniest fucking part of all, which they stole this scene from Uncharted 3, the video game. So Vin Diesel's on this plane, they're like, we're gonna kill all the XXX people. Ha 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 ha, we're the government. Ha 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 ha, we're evil. Ha ha. So this one government agent, I forget her name. You're not gonna remember any of these characters in this movie. She's on the plane, and you got a satellite that's going to crash down and, like, level Detroit, apparently. Or was it Detroit or Washington? I don't fucking remember. So anyways, Vin Diesel, he takes over the plane, and he stops it, and he crashes the plane into something, and then he has to, like, he jumps out of the plane, and Vin Diesel, you see Vin Diesel soaring through the air in this, like, fucking image, and I was laughing so hard, I thought he was going to, like, keel over, and he jumps onto a cargo thing, pulls the chute, and he somehow lands. Rip off! Fucking Uncharted 3! That's the exact same scene where Nathan Drake has to jump out of the plane, land on the cargo chute, and they'll, like, pull the parachute, and then he's fine. Then Sam Jackson shows up again at the end of the movie, like he does in every movie. Oh, you didn't really die? This is Captain America 2, and I think he's done in other movies, but my god. So, if you want a good laugh, and for, like, one of those, like, really dumb, funny movies, like, over-the-top action movies, kind of like, I wouldn't put in kind of like a Commando, where it's, like, really, like, over the top, but you, like, enjoy laughing at it. Granted, this isn't, like, Commando level, but in terms of, like, dumb, funny movies, it's worth checking out. So, yeah, what else do I have to say about XXX 3? The Return of Xander Cage. Oh, God. Yeah, just give it a watch if you want. You don't really have to see the first two movies to get it. I mean, here's what happens. Xander Cage goes in retirement, he comes back, and then that's it. They don't even reference, like, State of the Union at all, to my knowledge. So, yeah, you can go into this movie blind. It's trying to be a Fast and the Furious, like, type of movie, so Vin Diesel can have two franchises. Like, you can have Fast and Furious and then this. But, yeah, this one was pretty entertainingly stupid, so if you want a good laugh, check it out. If you're not a fan of these type of movies, then I'd say skip it. But, yeah, thanks for watching. Time to move on to the next movie, and this next one, we'll get into it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.